Hi everyone, and welcome to my live creative time today. My name's Mandy Witherby from Mandy's Papercraft Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope that we are going to have, well, I know that we are going to have a great time because I have got a really beautiful card to share with you today. So while everyone is finding their notifications that I have gone live, I will bring this up on my other devices so that I can see everyone's comments. So let me just get that all set up ready while we are waiting for people to jump on. There we go. Okay. Let's just go back. There we go. All right, good. Over there on my computer, and I'll just check on my iPad. As you're jumping on, say hi. Let me know that you're here. There we go. Hey, Brenton, how are you? Great to see you today. What are you up to today? You crafting? Oh, I've got to fix my chair. Hang on a sec. Let me get in a comfy spot. There we go. Yeah, so I have got a project today using some of the beautiful products from the Mini Catalogue and also using one of the free Sale-A-Bration items. So combining the two things, and got some really great techniques to show you as well today. So yeah, so I hope that will have a few jumping on. We have only got, oh, what's today? Today is the 23rd of February 2023. So we've only got 5 days left of Sale-A-Bration, which is not long at all. So if you haven't had the opportunity of taking what am I trying to say? If you haven't yet had the chance to take the Sale-A-Bration opportunity, that's what I wanted to say, then you have still got 5 days. So if you would like to get some freebies when you're shopping with qualifying orders of over $90, that's Australian dollars, you can choose a free item from the Sale-A-Bration brochure or from the second release products, which were a few of current products from the Mini Catalogue, the annual catalogue, and also there's a couple of kits available as well that you can choose with qualifying orders. So you've got 5 more days to take advantage of that. So all of that information you'll find in my online store, and you'll be able to, when your order qualifies, then you'll be able to select, you have a choice of the items that you would like to select for free. And we all love freebies. So yeah, so you've got 5 more days. Now also too, let me quickly tell you that if you would like the best value, then consider the starter kit while Sale-A-Bration is running, because during Sale-A-Bration, so 5 more days, you can choose 3 options. There we've got the 3 options there in our Sale-A-Bration brochure. So you can choose to get a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, either in white or the new special exclusive boho blue. Now the boho blue is only available for another 5 days while Sale-A-Bration is on. So if you haven't got that and you would like it, then now is the time to join and get that in your starter kit. So you get to choose that, and $315 worth of product, and only pay $210. So, which is awesome, because this in itself, the mini machine in itself, is already worth $110. So yeah, so you're getting $215 worth of value for free. Or if you don't want the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, perhaps you've already got a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you don't need another one, that's fine too. There's an option for you. You can choose $315 worth of product and only pay $169. So that means you're getting $146 worth of product for free. And you can choose whatever you like to put in those starter kits. So yeah, so that is a great offer, and that is the best way to maximize your value. And then too, after that, you'll get, once you've joined, you then get 20% discount on all of your Stampin' Up! Products. You get new release products early. You get free catalogs, all different sorts of things. So, and it also opens up a world of connection to other crafty people, other like-minded people. And of course, there's my beautiful crafting community, my team, the Paper Craft Gems as well. And we would love to welcome you. So if you would like more information about that, please feel free to get in contact with me, or you can just click on my join link if you have already made that decision, and I'll make sure that that is in the description of this video, both here on Facebook and over on YouTube. So yeah, so super exciting. 5 more days of Sale-A-Bration, so be sure not to miss out. All right, now I saw some comments fly through and now I can't see them. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, Brenton is crafting, trying to use all the bunnies you punched out the other day. Ah! Well, that should keep you hopping for a while. Oh, they're so cute, those little bunnies. It sounds like lots of fun. Great. So if you are jumping on and you are crafting along with me, let me know. I would love to know what you're creating today. So let me know. Now, I'm just not seeing comments on my computer. So let me just go back out of there and go back in here. And we'll see what is happening. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now we've got the comments coming up there. Sometimes it's a little bit silly, isn't it? Alrighty. Well, the other thing that I wanted to let you know too, so yeah, so Sale-A-Bration, if you would like more information about Sale-A-Bration, either about shopping, if you're unsure of how to do that, or you need support in placing your order, please let me know. If you would like more information about joining my team and what that looks like and what that involves and what I offer my team, then please get in contact with me and I'd love to answer all of your questions. Because I want you to be able to make the right decision for you. So yeah, so please get in contact with me. And of course, if you are watching from overseas and you don't yet have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like one, please let me know, because I've got a lot of contacts overseas as well. So I know lots of demonstrators all around the world. So please let me know, and I can, yeah, I can hook you up with somebody overseas. All right, my iPad comments, for some reason, they are just not, oh, there they are. I found them. Okay. Technology today, people. It's a struggle. All right, let me tell you something else quick. Oh, before I do, let me just thank you all for coming. I can't remember if I already said that. Thank you all for coming, for being here live, and for watching the replay. If you're watching over on YouTube, or even if you are watching here on Facebook and you haven't yet checked out my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would go over there and click on the subscribe button. While you're there, click on the little bell icon and select how you would like to be notified when I upload new videos. So you'll be sure never to miss out on anything. Alrighty. What other things do I need to tell you? I need to also let you know too that I have a special, what I'm calling a paper sampler at the moment. So it's a metallics and specialty paper samplers. I posted it up the other day, and it is a great way of getting a whole heap of some of those specialty foils and metallics and other cardstocks or papers that ordinarily you might not want to buy a whole complete pack of 12 by 12 sheets. So what I've done is I've made up these 2 packs. They've got lots of sheets in there. I'll pull them out in a minute to show you. I've made up these 2 packs. So we've got a metallics, oh no, this one, metallics pack and a specialty pack. And these ones I'm putting together as a little sampler for people so that they can get a whole heap of the different papers. I've cut them down to 6 by 6. So they are a great usable piece, but it gives you a little bit of a sampler to play with so that you can choose which ones you like, and you actually get to have a little play with all of these and incorporate them into your beautiful projects. So this is the metallics range. So I've got 1 sheet of each of the metallics in the range from the annual catalogue. And there are, how many is in this one? 14 pieces. I'm not sure if I've got them all fanned out there, but you can see all those beautiful metallics. So there's 14 pieces of 12 by 12 there. So that one is $17. And then the other one, which is the specialties. Now these are some of the specialty papers that are on that same page that have the foils on, and they're on page 139 if you have an annual catalogue. Have a look on page 139, and this is the don't know if that's going to flick through all of them. This is some of the specialty papers from the annual catalogue, and these are the ones, we've got some vellum, some printed vellums in there as well, and these are the ones that I'm including in the specialty pack. And then this one is some pearlescent paper. I don't know if you can see on camera. It's probably not going to pick up the pearl very well, but they're very shiny. And then some of the special linen paper as well. That's really fun to play with. So that one is 16 pieces for $13. So there's the 2 different packs there, or you can choose to get them all. So that's just something I'm doing because sometimes you look at all those specialty papers in the back and you think, oh, how am I going to use them? I don't want to buy a whole pack of those because, you know, it can add up. There's a pack of this and a pack of that. It can all add up. And so, you know, sometimes people don't want to purchase all of that. So I thought, well, this is a great way of helping people to have a little play with those different papers and see what they like. And then if you really like them, then you can buy, you know, a full pack if you would like to have more of that particular one. So I'm going to pop the link for that here in the comments, and it's also going to be in my description as well. It'll be in my Linktree bio. Sorry, my Linktree link. And let me just grab that here. I'll just grab that one here and I'll put that in the comments, and you can check that out. So there's a registration form there so that you can fill that out. I can get the payment details to you, and then obviously, you know, there'll be your address and things to fill in so that I can get those posted out to you. So check that out. It'll give you all the complete details there. Everything's listed out for you, what's included, how much you get, how much, you know, what the payment options are, and then the registration form follows on from that. So feel free to just jump on. Clicking on that link is not registering you. It just takes you through to the registration page with all the details. So you can just go there if you just want to have a look at the details, and then if you want to register, then you complete the registration form after that. Okay, so yeah, so check that out because that is really great. Now that is closing next Monday, the 27th. Yes, 27th. That's going to close on the 27th. So you need to register before then and have your payment submitted to me before then as well. So I've already got a couple of people who have registered for that, which is awesome. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more beautiful papers in people's hands. So super exciting. All right, well, I am going to jump into our project because I have a meeting at 12 o'clock. Thursdays, 12 o'clock, there's often meetings. So it's really a push to get my project done in time. So I want to jump onto that. If you've got any questions or you want to chat with me while I'm crafting, feel free to do that. Pop any of those questions in the comments. Chat along with me, chat along with each other. As I'm crafting, I do look up and check the screen. So if comments are coming through thick and fast, sometimes I might miss one here or there. If I miss it, feel free to just ask it again. Don't think that I'm ignoring you. I just might have my head down. So, alrighty. Okay, so we will get started. I'm going to cover up the camera to tip it down onto the desktop just so I don't make you all dizzy while I do that. So bear with me for one moment because I need to adjust my stand here. Okay, here we go. All right. So we're coming up on the weekend. If you've got any special plans for the weekend, I would love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. I don't think I have any special plans. Oh yes, I think I'm going shopping on Saturday. That's pretty special. I don't get to go out shopping very often these days. There we go. All right, so let's just see, do we have everything straight and looking honky-dory? Oh, a little bit wonky today. Little bit wonky. Let's just straighten that up. I think I've brought my camera down a bit closer today too. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a good thing or not. We will see. We will see. All right, so today we are going to be playing with some products, as I said, from the mini catalogue. So I've got it tagged here. So we're going to be playing with the Dainty Delight Bundle. This bundle is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So pretty. So the stamp set is gorgeous. I love florals, but these ones in particular because they're quite vintage style, and I love vintage. So, and the font is just gorgeous as well. There are coordinating dies that go with this stamp set, so you can get them as individual products, and here's the information about the dies here. Plus you can have a look at them in the back of the catalogue as well, on page 77 for a closer look. But if you buy them together as a bundle, you will save 10%, and believe me, you'll want the bundle because the dies are beautiful. Wait until I show you them. You'll want them. And even just these projects that are created with this bundle are just gorgeous too. So some samples there in the catalogue for you, but that's what we're playing with. And during Sale-A-Bration, and so this only for another 5 days, there is coordinating designer series paper that you can get for free with Sale-A-Bration. So if you buy that bundle, because the bundle is $96.25, so that gives you the stamp sets and the dies, you would qualify for a free Sale-A-Bration item. And currently we have the Dainty Flowers designer series paper, which is my favorite Sale-A-Bration item. And it is available for free. So you can choose that for free when you purchase the bundle, if you would like to, or you can choose anything else. Again, more beautiful samples. Look at all of these. So gorgeous. So we're going to be playing with that today. But yeah, this paper is free during Sale-A-Bration with a $90 purchase. So that is the Sale-A-Bration brochure. If you want to see a copy of this brochure or any of our catalogues, you can find them on my blog homepage. So if you go to mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com, you'll find a PDF version of all of our current catalogues. So if you don't have one, then feel free to go there. If you would like a paper copy of any of our catalogues and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, please feel free to let me know. I would love to send you out a copy of your own, because it's lovely to leaf through the pages of a beautiful catalogue. Now let me just take a little sip of water. Getting breathless. I think I'm talking a million miles an hour today. At least I feel I am anyway. So let's have a look at these products up close before we jump into the project. Here is the bundle, the Dainty Delight Bundle. So we've got the gorgeous stamp set. So it's a cling stamp set, which is the red rubber. Now I've already taken out the stamps that we're using today, but you can see they are the red rubber stamps. So I've got all my stickers put on mine because I like to, some people don't like to put their stickers on, but I like my stickers on there because I like to be able to line them up, and that really helps me to line up my my images. And then the dies, these are gorgeous, these Dainty Delight dies. It's a big pack of dies. Look how many you get. So there are dies to cut out each of the floral images. Okay, so you've got dies for those. Then you've got all these additional dies as well. So you've got this one here. You've got lots of different little flowers. These ones, I know Brenton has been playing with this set recently. He was making some beautiful wedding cards, I think, wasn't it, Brenton, with these ones? And you had some of these flowers layered together. They looked amazing. So beautiful. I love this daisy. Yeah, so just so much you can do with this set. I love a good floral die set. And this one is gorgeous. So we're going to be playing with that. And then we've got the designer series paper as well. Now, as you can see, mine is well used. So I love this paper, so I've used it a fair bit. Yes, Brenton said yes, it was this die set, and he loves this die set. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So beautiful. So this is the paper, and now the paper comes in sheets of 12 by 12 inch. I've cut them down, as you can see, because I've been using them, as you can see. But look at all these beautiful designs that you get. And I'll show you all of my bits and pieces. So again, remember they'll be in 12 by 12. I'll just show you. Oh, that's the one that I already showed you before. There's a sheet that has these oval frames, which are beautiful. And then you've got these border pieces as well, or you can use them as standalone pieces. So you can fussy cut them. You can use dies with this one, which is what I have done. I've made some cards using dies with these ones. Got some watercolor looks on the back there. I love this one. This would make a beautiful scrapbooking page. So this piece has that same image in the reverse, top and bottom. So you can cut them in half, and then you can either choose to make this into cards. So you can chop that up then to make this into cards, or you can use that on a scrapbooking layout, which would be beautiful. There's some more bits and pieces. I love this one. Well, I love pink, so I really, really love it. I was going to say this is my favorite, but it's hard to pick a favorite with this paper because they're all so beautiful. There's some more of those frames. We've got this piece as well. Oh, there's some more of that pink. So pretty. There's some more of that other one. This one's nice too. I've used this one on some cards. I've actually used this paper a few times. I've made quite a few cards with this paper because it's just so. Oh look, as you can see, look, I've cut my images out of there because I was making some cards just highlighting some of the floral images on here using some stitched rectangle dies. So there you go. So that is the paper that we're going to be using today too. Now I've got everything pre-cut ready to go because I knew I was going to be limited for time today. Whoops, hang on a minute. Just dropped one of those pieces of DSP on the floor, and I don't want to leave them down there because our puppy dog will get them. So I will show you the pretty project that we're going to be making today, and we are incorporating a couple of other products as well. So this is our card for today, my Celebrate You card. Isn't that just so pretty? And as I said, I love pinks, but I also love purples. So pink and purple are both my favorite colors. Oh, hi Dimity, how are you? Great to see you with us today. So, so this is the pretty card that we are making today. Very, very, yeah, just very pretty and soft and, oh, gorgeous. I love these colors together. And yeah, so I'm going to make that with you today. We're doing a little bit of watercoloring today, which I haven't done for a little while, I think, with you all. So yeah, so we're going to do some watercoloring today. All right, so I'm going to pop my card up there. I've got everything here together. Now I'm using some water painters today. These water painters come in a set of 3. So here's my third one. You get the wide brush tip. Now the wide brush tip is great. Oh, sorry, it's wide brush. Yeah, wide brush tip. I did say the right thing. This is great for doing your water wash backgrounds. It's also great for sealing your envelopes, which is why the lid is off on mine, because I use mine all the time for sealing my envelopes rather than licking, because you know we don't want to lick envelopes these days. And so I use this one for that all the time, and that's why the lid is off, because I'm forever using it. And then we've got a medium tip and a fine tip brush. Okay, so the fine tip one, of course, is great for those finer details, which I think I'm probably going to be using that one today. And then the wider brush tip for, you know, larger areas that you're colouring. So they come together in a set of 3. You'll find them in the colouring tools section, I believe. We have a little bit of paper towel. Always great to have some kitchen towel or paper towel, depending on what you call it, when you're doing watercolouring. So we've got some of that here. Oh, hey, Laurie, how are you? Oh, you just got home in time to watch me. Fantastic. And Vicky's here too. Hi, Vicky, how are you? Great to have you with us. I've got a sponge dauber as well. We're doing a little bit of daubering, and we're just using 2 colours, Rich Razzleberry and Mossy Meadow today. So I'll pop those up there. Got all my stamps ready to go. The other thing that we are going to be using is the deckled rectangle dies. Now I've already pre-die cut these, but I just wanted to show you the deckled rectangle dies. These are really lovely. They give like that torn edge look to your pieces that you're die cutting, and there's so many in here, lots and lots of different sizes. So yeah, they're the ones that I've used already to pre-die cut to save a bit of time. My pieces. So here we go. Now I will put all of the measurements for this project up on my blog in the next couple of days, and then I'll have I'll put that up on my page so that people know that it's ready over on my blog, so that you can go over there and have a look. But we've got all of these pieces. As you can see, I've already die cut some of my white pieces with those deckled dies just to save a bit of time. And aren't they really cool? They give that beautiful torn edge. Really beautiful. All right, let's get started. So we've got some white cardstock, we've got some Mossy Meadow cardstock, we've got Rich Razzleberry, and we've got a card base of Rich Razzleberry as well. You could use, this is a great project that you could use some of your scraps up as well. Because hopefully you keep your scraps, because we all have scraps of cardstock laying around. But because we're using small pieces, this is a really great project for using up some of those little scraps that you might have laying around. But I will put all the full measurements on my blog tomorrow as well, hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get it up there tomorrow, that's the aim. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start with our designer series papers first. And what we're going to do is I am going to take some, let's do a bit of inking first. So I'll bring in my small grid paper. I realized last night that I need to order more small grid paper because my pad of grid paper is nearly empty. I use this one all the time. Actually, I use the small grid paper now more so than I use the large grid paper. You know what? I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit. I think that it's a little bit close. Hang on one sec. Let's go up just a bit. Just so that you can see a little bit more of my desk area. Because otherwise I just felt like I was running out of room. All right, so we'll do a little bit of inking of this. Oh, I should have, you know what? Before we do that, hang on, let's backtrack. I want to stamp my images first because I want to give them a little bit of drying time before we start doing colouring. So let's do that first. So, all right, we are doing that one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay. Just getting all my layers sorted here. All right, let's start with our sentiments. So I've die cut the smallest deckled rectangle for a sentiment label. So we'll start with that. So we're going to use our Mossy Meadow ink. There we go. And I'm just using Celebrate You from the stamp set. So it's this one here. So today we're going to be using this stamp set, this stamp, the Celebrate You. We're using this one here and this one here. Okay, so just using a couple of the smaller ones today. All right, so we'll stamp our Celebrate You, and we're just going to stamp that into the center of this piece. I like using my grid paper to help me to line up my labels when I'm stamping my greetings too, so that I can try to get that nice and straight. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, got a little bit of over inking there. That's all right. Pretend that that's not there. We'll make sure, actually probably, oh no, you can see it on camera. I was going to say you probably can't even see it on camera. But you know what? We can always hide those with a little bit of bling. It's only such a tiny little bit. I'm not going to worry to re-die cut that because we don't have much time today. We're limited with time. All right. So we'll give that a clean on our Simply Chamois. Love my chamois. It's a great cleaning tool. Okay, and then we are going to stamp on this one. We're going to stamp that larger floral bloom. Oh, well, sorry, it's a small floral bloom compared to the other ones, but it's larger than the sentiment. All right, so we're just going to stamp this one onto our cardstock here, and we are going to colour this, and then we're going to die cut it. There we go. Whoa, I nearly smudged that. Okay, great. So we're going to set that aside to dry a little bit because we are going to do some watercolor on there. So we want that to dry just a little bit. All right, and we'll stamp that off and give that a clean too. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to stamp this one onto this piece, and we're going to stamp it over to, so this is one of the deckled dies again. Now, which one is this one? Let me remember which size. Is it that one? That one. That one? Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's that one. So it's the 1, 2, 3, fourth largest. The fourth largest deckled die. And this one's going to be stamped over this side. Oops, make sure I've got that nice and straight. And we're going to stamp that about there. So up a little bit from the bottom. There we go. Over to the right-hand side. Did I say left-hand side before? I meant right-hand side. I don't know what I said. I'm not quite, I don't know what I said. Oh, it's all good. All right. And we are going to be doing a little bit of die cutting. So we're going to be doing some colouring and some die cutting. So we'll try and do all the die cutting at the same time. All right. So now that we've done those steps, now we will do the daubering that I was going to do before. I just wanted to get those pieces stamped so they could dry for a little bit. Now we'll bring back in that piece of designer series paper, and I'm using this strip here that I've made. As I said, all the measurements will be up on my blog, but it's, yeah, it's 10 point something, 10.2, 10.3, I can't remember exactly now, by 5.2, I think. Anyway, the measurements will be over on my blog, so don't worry about measurements today. All right, so we're going to take our sponge dauber and our rich raspberry ink, and we're going to dauber around the edges. So just to ink distress those edges of this designer series paper, and we're just doing that on this strip, on this piece. So we'll do all our inky bits first, although we are going to be using the inks for colouring today too. So when you're colouring your images, your stamped images, there's so many different colouring tools that Stampin' Up! Has that you can use. We've got watercolour pencils, we've got all of our inks, we've got the Stampin' Write markers and the Stampin' blends. Stampin' Write markers are water-based, and the Stampin' blends are our alcohol-based markers. And then we've got the ink pad. So I'm going to show you how to, I actually need to change my rich raspberry dauber to a new one, because this one I've had for a really, really long time and it is starting to break down a bit. So that's why you can see all those little bits sitting here on my piece of paper, which I'm going to get rid of because they're holding ink and we don't want to get that ink everywhere. There we go. Yes, so that one is needing replacing. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take some baker's twine and wrap that around this piece, ready to adhere onto our card front. So yes, I'm going to show you how to do some watercolouring today using the ink pads. Okay, and probably a lot of you have already done that before, and you would know what I'm talking about. But if you're new to card making and you haven't seen how you can use our inks with watercoloring, then I'm going to show you that today. All right, now when you're wrapping twine around a piece of designer series paper, because it is just paper, it's not as thick as our cardstock, so you have to be really careful not to pull it too tightly, because you don't want to bow your designer series paper. So I'm just going to cut that at about there. Oh wow, oh these must be my tape scissors, they're blunt. Where's my other ones? I think all of my scissors have all gotten mixed up actually. I'll sort that out later. I'm going to have to buy some more baker's twine soon, because I've nearly got no white left. All right, so we'll tie our bow. Actually, we're not tying a full bow, we're just going to tie a knot. I'm just going to bring that around a little bit further. There we go. Okay, so wrap that around. Oh my goodness, it just fell right off. Let's start that again. Okay, start that again. Wrap that around twice, and then we're going to tie a knot. But we want it firm, but we don't want it too tight that it's going to bow the cardstock. Okay, so we're just going to tie a little knot over here on the right hand side. If you wanted to tie a bow, you could tie a bow. It's just a little bit harder to hold it when it's on designer series paper. There we go. And then just make sure that it's not pulling too tight on that paper, because you don't want that to bow up. All right, and then we're just going to separate those so that they're crisscrossed over a little bit, and then we can trim, pull that a bit tighter, and then we can trim that twine up. Oh my goodness. I think my good scissors have been put back in with all the other old blunt ones, and these ones have been, because the other day I know that I did pull out a spare pair of old ones that weren't labelled, and I had one in my tin here that looked exactly the same, that weren't labelled as well, and I think they've gotten mixed up because those ones are blunt. So, which isn't helpful when you're trying to trim twine, and that's not quite short enough either. Oh my goodness. And I don't have, I reckon my tape scissors would be even sharper than that. Let's see. Oh, they are too. Okay, so that's an old pair of scissors. Those ones need to go away. They're no good to me. They're no good to me. All right. So I'm just going to separate the fibres on the ends there, just to give a little bit more texture. I always like to do that with my baker's twine. So do that side. And what I do is I just basically untwist the twine and then just sort of fluff it out with my fingers, just to give it a little bit more texture there. All right, so that piece is ready to go. So we can pop these two pieces onto our card base now. So we've got a card base here of rich razzleberries. So it's half a piece of A4, just cut in half across the short side, scored and folded. So it's 21 centimeters by 14.85, and then scored and folded at 10.5, which is just our basic card base. All right, going to use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue so that we have got that wiggle time to be able to position our cardstock right where we, our designer series paper right where we want it. Okay, this paper is so pretty. Isn't it just so gorgeous? I wish this one was staying around actually. It's sad that it's a Sale-A-Bration item and it's going to be leaving us in 5 days. I wish it was in the standard range of papers because it's so, so pretty. Laurie said, I keep forgetting those decal dies when you order. Ah, you have to put them on your wish list, Laurie. So do you have a little book or something like that that you write your wish list down in. That's what I do. I have a little book, and then whenever I think of something that I want or that I need, I write it down in the book, and then that way, whenever I'm placing my orders, I've always got it close handy so that I remember what it was that I wanted. All right, so we'll put a little bit more glue down on this piece as well. We're going to adhere that. So we're going to put that up from the bottom about 8 millimeters or so up from the bottom. So not quite a centimeter. Line that up. And again, it's great to use your grid paper because, you know, I don't get things terribly straight if I don't use my grid paper. If I'm just using my eye is not always... My eyes deceive me. Do my eyes deceive me? Yes, they do sometimes. All right, so we'll just adhere that down. I usually use a dry adhesive when I'm adhering something with twine on it, a layer with twine, but I'm trying to be quick today, so I thought it would be quicker just to use the glue, but maybe not because it's not wanting to stick down. There we go. Now it is. Now it's sticking. It's got to give it a bit more of a press where that twine is because it wants to, the cardstock wants to curl up where that twine is. There we go. Got it. Good. Alrighty. So now we can do our colouring. So that's the base done of our card. So we're going to do our colouring and then we're going to layer up all of those different pieces. Okay, so to do our colouring, what we're going to do is I have a spare block here. I was going to say a clean block. It's actually not super clean. I realized last night I was pulling all my blocks out thinking, okay, I need a clean block for this watercoloring technique. So I was going through all my blocks and I'm like, oh my goodness, all my blocks need cleaning again. I feel like I only did them just yesterday, last week. Maybe it was last month. Maybe it was a month before. I don't know. It feels like it wasn't that long ago. But anyway, they need a good clean again. So what you can do, there's a couple of different things you can do to use. What we want to do is we want to get some of the ink from this ink pad to use with our watercoloring. So it's not a good idea to take your watercolor brush straight to your ink pad because what that water will do is it will dilute your ink in your ink pad and you don't want that. So there's a couple of things you can do. Some people are really great at pressing the ink. They press the lid down and they get the ink inside the well. My hands aren't very strong to do that, so I find that quite challenging. Yeah, see? But they get the ink there in the base and then they can use that as like a palette. You can also use your re-inkers and you can drop a little drop of re-inker inside the lid as well and use it that way. But the technique I like to do is to use one of my blocks, and what I do is I just ink some of my ink pad onto a block and use my block as a palette. Okay, you can also use the re-inkers in the same way. Drop a re-inker onto a block and then mix it with some of the water to create your colors, to create your watercolors. The blocks are also great to use for mixing colors as well. If you want to mix colors and do your own colorations. So you can do that too. So there's our little, so we've got our little palette. We're going to take our water brush and I'm just going to give it a little squeeze. So if you haven't seen our water brushes before, they have a little well in them that you can just put some water. I usually use filtered water in mine, but you can just use tap water. And then it works like a wet paintbrush. You just give it a little squeeze to get the water flowing through to the tip and it becomes like a wet paintbrush. So these just unscrew. They actually unscrew in the opposite direction than you expect them to. And I did this one up really tight last night. Is it that way? No, it's that way. Okay, so they actually unscrew in the opposite direction to what you would normally unscrew a lid. It's like they're threaded backwards or something. Okay, and then you just fill them up with water and then screw the top back on and you're good to go. All right, and then what we're going to do is we are just going to make sure that our brush is nice and wet. We're going to mix a little bit of the water from our brush in with the ink there. And we're creating a little watercolor wash there. Okay, so diluting some of that ink and creating watercolor. All right. Laurie said, I just got one to put measurements and sketches in. I can do a section for wish lists. Oh, that's a great idea, Laurie. Yeah, you can utilize the same book and put it all in there together. All right, so then what we're going to do, I've got a little bit too much there. It's a bit heavy. It's a bit darker than what I wanted, so I'm just going to dilute that down a bit more. And I do have my paper here, so I might just clean that off a bit actually. There we go. And we're just going to colour in our little flowers and our flower buds, and we're going to give them a watercolour look. Well, we're watercolouring. This is how easy watercolouring can be. And the water painters do hold a fair bit of the colour. So often you don't, if you've got a good wet brush, you often don't have to reload your colours too often either, which is really good. Just load it up one more time for this little flower down here. And I'm just using a really light hand, basically like a dabbing technique to put the ink down. And that's how easy it is. So all the little flowers are coloured. I'm going to do that's the centre of that one in the green. So then to clean your brush, just give it a little squeeze for the water to flow through the brush, and then just wipe it backwards and forwards on some paper towel or on some scrap paper. The paper towel is really good because it's more absorbent. You want to get that colour out of the brush before you change colours. So keep doing that until it runs clean. Just keep giving it a squeeze. So the tip might become a little bit stained, but so long as your water is flowing clean, then you'll know that. I've still got a little bit of coloration in there. Then you'll know that you're good to change colours. Okay, that's looking pretty good now. All right, so then we'll change to the green. Now I put a lot of ink on the block here, and as you can see, I hardly used any there. So you really don't need very much. I just sort of put down a whole heap just to show you, but you really don't need very much at all. Okay, and then we're just going to colour our leaves. Again, just using a really light touch, just almost like a little dab, dab, dab. And it's just so easy to do. Anyone could do this. Pick up a bit more colour. And the good thing about the fine tip is that you can get into the really small little sections with that fine tip. There we go. So that is now done. So look at that. See how quick and easy that was? Hi, Zana, how are you? Great to have you with us. So that was so quick and easy to do. All right, and now we'll bring in this other piece that we stamped, and we're just going to colour the little leaves on this one in the green. Now the thing to remember too is we did stamp with the Mossy Meadow ink, which is also a water-based ink. So you don't want to overwork this because the stamped image might actually smudge if you overwork it, because it is also stamped with watercolor. So you're adding more water to the ink, and you don't want to cause it to all bleed and smudge and go all yucky. So just make sure that your brush isn't too wet. You want a certain amount of moisture in your brush, but you don't want it to be, you know, totally dripping. There we go. That one is done too. Now with this little piece, I'm just going to show you with this piece here. For this card, I actually die cut that first, and then I coloured it with the watercolours. But then I was thinking, when I was preparing for this one, I was thinking, well, what if I just watercoloured the piece of paper first and then die cut it? So I thought, well, let's do that. And that's actually with the other color. I should have done that before. Well, I had the other color out, but that's okay. We can just clean this. We didn't have too much green on there, so this will clean off really quickly. There we go. And what I might do is switch brushes and use the thicker one this time, actually. So we'll get some water flowing through that. I always like to test it on my hand, on the back of my hand, to make sure that the water is flowing and the brush tip is nice and wet. There we go. Now that's nice and wet. So we'll pick up some of that colour. And we'll just colour our cardstock. And we want some different tones in there as well for the die cutting. So just sort of dab on some deeper colours here and there. Sort of random. I'm not good with doing random. Just make sure that that's all coloured up. There we go. So that little piece is now watercoloured and ready to die cut. Now I have just used ordinary basic white. Normally, if I'm doing a lot of heavy watercolouring, I would use something like shimmery white cardstock or even the Fluid 100 watercolour paper that Stampin' Up has. The shimmery white is a great one to use because it holds it's more absorbent and it holds the water really well. With the standard cardstock, you have to be careful not to work it too much because it will curl. Like you can see, this is curling. It'll curl, but also it can start to pill if you add too much water. So just be careful about that. Now, easy cleanup with your blocks. Take a baby wipe. Just wipe over it with a baby wipe, or you can just run it under the tap, and that water, because that ink is water-based, that ink will just run off really easily, and that's now clean. So that's as easy as it was, except now I've got ink on my fingers. So that can happen when you're doing watercoloring. It's all good. It's all good. Alrighty. All right, so we'll put our water painters away. Oh, I didn't cap my glue before. That was a bit naughty. Better do that. Alrighty. Okay, so we've got our pieces already coloured, ready to go. So we need to die cut that one and that one. This one is already die cut around the rectangle. So we need to do that one and that one. And we need a stem as well of, we've got a little piece of green here. We need a stem for this one here. So we're going to die cut that too. So we're going to bring in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Our mighty mini. Hi Cindy, great to have you with us all the way from Canada. Thank you for joining us. We've been doing some watercolouring today. All right, so for my mini, I'm going to use, for my die cutting, sorry, on my mini, I'm going to use my #1 base plate. I'm using a clear plate #2, and then I'll use another clear plate #2 over the top. But we will grab our dies. Here we go, and we'll get the coordinating die. Let me just move that over for the moment. Which one is it? I think it might be this one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Which one was it? This one. Do you remember which one it was? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. All right, so we'll get that lined up. I'm not sure. I might fit. That one's still a little bit damp, actually. I hope that's going to die cut okay. I don't have my heat tool out. I might do the stem first. Usually, if that was still a little bit damp, I might hit that with the heat tool, just to make sure that it's nice and dry before we die cut it, because if it's too wet, it might not die cut very well. I'm just going to grab some more washi tape. Excuse me, reaching over there. I'll get a bit more washi. And I'll just dab this washi tape off on my clothes a little bit to pick up some lint so that it's not too sticky, because this is a particularly sticky washi tape, this one. All right, so just line up our die, and then you can use washi tape or you can use a post-it note to just hold your die in place. Okay, there we go. So we'll run those two through the machine, giving our extra little piece a chance to dry just a little bit more, hopefully. There we go. Beautiful, look at that. How gorgeous is that? So pretty. And this is our tiny little skinny stem for our flowers. Okay, so we'll pop those dies away. Get that extra cardstock off there. So how is it over in Canada, Cindy? What's the weather like over there right now? Because you would be in winter, wouldn't you? Do you have snow where you are? We're in summer, so we've had some really warm days lately. And lots of storms, because when we get really hot weather, we tend to get the storms as well that come in the afternoon. But today's a bit of a funny one. It's a little bit overcast today, and it's not as warm today. All right, so we'll try die cutting this. It is still a little bit wet, so it's not a great idea to die cut it while it's still wet, but we'll give it a go and see how we go. Okay, so we're going to use this one here. Ah, so pretty. Yeah, they're beautiful dies, these ones, aren't they? And beautiful stamp set. Really, really gorgeous set, this one. All right, so there we go. We'll see how this die cuts, being that it's still a little bit damp. There we go. Oh, it's wet season up in Darwin. So much rain up there, Dimity. Oh, okay. Do you get lots of flooding up there, Dimity, in the wet season? There we go. Oh, look, it die cut beautifully, actually. Look at that. And see how we've got the different colorations in there from doing that watercolor effect on the cardstock before we die cut that. That turned out really well. Happy with that. Very good. Cindy said she's in British Columbia, Western Canada. Okay, it's very cold and we're getting snow later this week and the mountains have snow. Oh, sounds so beautiful. Sounds so beautiful. I love the snow. Mind you, we don't live in a snowy area, but I used to love to visit the snow and go skiing. But my skiing days are over, unfortunately. But yeah, just really loved being down in the snow. All right, so we'll pop that one back on there. Okay, so for those of you who have jumped on after I started, this is the card that we're creating today. So I've got this beautiful card using the Dainty Delight Bundle and the beautiful Dainty Delight Designer Series paper from Sale-A-Bration. So this is where we are up to. All right, so now we've got all of our pieces. Dimity said, oh, Cindy said, we're on the south coast, so we don't get much like the northern province. Ah, okay, right, yep. Ah, cool. And Dimity said, out of Darwin floods, Darwin is designed for rain, so it's good. Ah, okay. Oh, that's good then. All right. So for this piece, we are going to adhere these two layers together. So we've got our deckled die cut basic white, and that's going onto a piece of rich raspberry. Again, for those of you that have jumped on a little bit later, just let you know that all of the measurements for this project, oh my goodness, I'm all sticky on the end. All the measurements for this project are going to be on my blog tomorrow. So you can, if you would like to case my card, all of the measurements will be there for you. All right, so we'll just put these two together. Line them up. The good thing too with the deckled edge dies, the deckled rectangle dies, is that if your piece isn't exactly lined up, you kind of, it's a little bit forgiving because you've got the deckled edge. It takes your eye away from things being completely lined up. So I love that. All right, so this can go down onto our card now. I think we're right to adhere this piece. And this one is going to go down here like so. Okay, over to the left side. Now, our sentiment label, it'll go on last, but we can mount these two pieces up together. So I've got my deckled rectangle again, which we've already stamped the sentiment on. And we've got a piece of Mossy Meadow, which has just been cut from a scrap, just to fit that deckled die. As I said earlier, this is a great project for using up some of your scraps. There we go. So that's ready to adhere when we get to that piece. And now this one, we're going to put some dimensionals onto this one. So I'll get my minis. We'll use our minis on this one, I think. My fantastic Take Your Pick tool. Oh my goodness, I love this tool. This is my most used tool. Apart from my trimmer, this would be my most used tool in the craft room. My Take Your Pick tool. So do you all use a Take Your Pick tool? Let me know in the comments if you love your Take Your Pick tool. Such a handy little tool to have. There we go. So we will stab the backs of our mini dimensionals. For those of you that may not know, dimensionals are just mounting foam. They're cut in shapes of hexagons so that we don't have to gammy up our scissors when, you know, you don't have to cut the foam. It's already cut for you. And they come in a regular size and in a mini size as well. All right, so these flowers are now just going to go down here like so. There we go. And then we're going to attach, or not attach, adhere this flower here. So this one's, actually I probably should have done this one first. That's okay. This one's going to go up here. And this little stem is going to go down here. Okay, so we'll put a little bit of glue. I was just making sure that was going to fit. So I'm like, oh, did it in different order today. Oh, you love your Take Your Pick tool, Cindy. It's great, isn't it? I do too. I don't think I could live without it nowadays. So used to having it. All right, so with this, because this is a tiny little piece, you can either do the dabbing glue technique with a craft sponge, or just run a tiny little bead of glue along there. Or we also have our fine tip glue pen too. That would have been good to use. Wait, I've got the fine tip glue pen. Let's just not do that over the top of our project in case. I haven't used this one for a while, so it might be, let me just check. It might be a little bit blocked up. Oh no, good, it's running. All right, so we use our fine tip glue pen to add some glue there. And with the fine tip glue pen, you've got to make sure that you put the lid back on straight away because this one dries up really quickly. Okay, I've had to pull mine apart a few times to clean out the tip when I hadn't capped it properly. All right, so that's going to go about there. So we need to slide this in under here. Do you know what? I'm going to use my scissors, my tweezers. Where are they? There they are. Use my tweezers to get that in there. That's better. So much easier. All right, so I'm going to slip that in. That's going to go about there. So I'm going to slip that in. Let's see. Down about there. There we go. Oh, so much easier with the tweezers. There we go. And then we'll put a little bit of glue on this one here. Just a few little dabs. Again, could have used my fine tip glue pen, but this one's working okay. I've got some larger areas where I can put the glue on this one. That little stem is so skinny though. There we go. Might use my tweezers again. Just attach that there. Let's have that going at a little bit of an angle. I think I actually put the stem at a different angle this time too. I did too. That's okay. That's right. We can just have this one going at that angle. Oops. There we go. Give that a little press down. Oh, in fact, you know what I did? Oh, it's probably too late now. I just realised with the other one, I had the stem going up through that middle section there too, and I didn't do that on this one. I've put it down lower. I should have had the stem going up higher, but that's already stuck now. That's okay. The recipient won't ever know. You're the only people that are going to know, so it's all good. All right, and then we're going to pop our sentiment label down. So the left side of our sentiment label is going to overlap our flowers, which are already up on dimensionals. So we don't want to add extra dimensionals there. We only want to add dimensionals where it's going to sit on the cardstock on the other part. Okay, so what you can do if you're unsure is turn it over, rest it where it's going to sit, so you can see where you're going to add your dimensionals. So I might get my regular dimensionals this time. Let's just move that too. And we'll pop a couple over here. Pop one here. And then what I'll do on that side is I'm just going to add a little dab of glue so that it will adhere to the flowers and it will sit down nicely and it won't pop up. So just add a little bead of glue along there, and then we're going to overlap that. I've actually got it up a bit higher this time, I think, but that's okay. There we go, like so. Good, and now we'll add our bling, our blingy bling bling. So we're just using some rhinestones today, some rhinestone basic jewels. These are always my go-to embellishment. If ever I'm stuck on which embellishment to use, I always go back to the rhinestones. So I probably use these more than I use any other embellishment, as much as I love all of our embellishments and we've got so many to choose from, which is fantastic. And I do use a lot of the other ones too, but I tend to always go back to my rhinestones. So as you can see, I've got some additional sheets in here too. So, all right, so we're going to put some rhinestones up here. And I want to put one down here as well. There we go. If you wanted to, you could add a couple more on the, well, let's do that. We've got, you can add some on the DSP for a bit of extra bling. Oops, there goes one, flying away. One up there. There we go. So we've got 5. So when you're using embellishments, it's great to have an uneven number. So it's good aesthetically. So if you have either 3 or 5 or 7, then that's great. That usually balances everything out. So there we go. So there we have our gorgeous card using the beautiful Dainty Delight Bundle and the Dainty Delight Designer Series paper. So, you're the same with rhinestones, Cindy? Yeah. They're beautiful, aren't they? They just go with anything, and I love that you can colour them and all of those things. Oh, thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going to tip my camera up very quickly. I just realised the time. Here we go. move that up a tad. Alrighty. Oh, I forgot to flip. There we go. Upside down, back to front, on the roof. And I just realized the time because I was supposed to be in a Zoom meeting at 12 o'clock and it's now 15:15, so I'm late now. That's okay. I can join in late. Why is that not staying there? Stay. There we go. Sorry, my light was being stubborn and not wanting to do what I wanted it to do. All right, there we go. So there's my card. So I hope you enjoyed that. And remember that beautiful designer series paper is only available for 5 more days during Sale-A-Bration. And you can choose it as a free item with a $90 order. There goes my light again falling down. Probably in the half dark now, that's okay. So yeah, so if you love that designer series paper and you don't already have some, make sure that you get that before the end of Sale-A-Bration, which finishes on the 28th of February. So thank you all. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad that you enjoyed my card today. That's awesome. Thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. Thank you to everyone who was able to join me today, and thank you to those watching the replay as well. I always appreciate your support, so thank you so much. And I will be back live again next Monday with another new project for you. Monday, 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and then again next Thursday morning at 11 a.m. So I look forward to seeing you around. I better run because otherwise I'm going to be extra late for this meeting. I better get to it. And thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye.